As usual, Harvey sat in his big comfy chair with a beer watching a baseball game on the TV. Betsy had gone upstairs after dinner. He didn't know or care what she was doing. To him, it seemed like just another night at home. But just before 7:00 p.m., the doorbell rang. Before Harvey could get up, Betsy shouted from upstairs. "Harvey, could you please get the door?" "Sure. I was going to do it anyway," he grumbled. He walked to the door and opened it to find a well-dressed man he didn't recognize. "Can I help you? I hope you're not selling anything." "No, I'm here to pick up Betsy." "Why?" "We have a date." Harvey's eyes bulged out of their sockets. "You have a date with my wife, Betsy?" "Yes." Harvey stood there for a moment, trying to figure out what to do. "I'll call her," he said, walking to the foot of the stairs and shouting upstairs, "Betsy, your fiancé is here." He expected her to ask, "What date?" or "It's not really a date." Instead, she said, "Tell them I'll be right down." Harvey just stood there wondering what was happening. When she came into the living room, she was wearing a short evening dress with a deep neckline and a lot of makeup on her face. Harvey asked, "Betsy, tell me what the hell is going on." "I'm going on a date." Married women don't go on dates with anyone other than their husbands. "I'm leaving. I'm tired of spending evenings watching you drink beer and stare at boring sports like curling. All I get from you is a burp or a fart, and you don't even say sorry anymore. When was the last time we did something fun together? If you can't pay attention to me or suggest something fun once in a while, I'll find someone who will." She poked her finger into his chest to make her point. "And don't expect me back tonight. If I'm lucky, I might not come home until morning." She left, slamming the door behind her. Betsy got into the waiting car and told the driver to go. Once they were away from the house, he stopped and they both started laughing. Betsy said, "I wish I had a picture of the look on his face. It was priceless. If that doesn't make him change from a sloth into a normal person, I don't know what will. Don't you think this might make him angry and worsen the situation?" "I doubt it. He'll probably just sit there wondering what happened. I'll be back before he gets too upset. I don't think he would consider divorce so quickly, but I'm willing to take the risk. Maybe I shouldn't have added that part about not being home until tomorrow. Oh well, too late now. Given how our marriage is going, I'd rather divorce than continue like this. Damn it. I love that fool to death. But I just wish he cared more about me and us. Oh well, drive around the block. We'll go back and I'll see how he's doing." After driving around the neighborhood, Betsy and her date pulled into the driveway and parked. Harvey didn't rush outside as Betsy had hoped. She went inside and didn't see him in the living room. Though the TV was on, she quickly checked the downstairs and then went upstairs. He wasn't there. Then she called his mobile phone. She heard it ring. Betsy ran to find his cell phone on the nightstand. Next to it was his wedding ring. She quickly looked around the room. Several of his personal items were missing. Oh, damn. Betsy ran downstairs to tell her friend what had happened and to check if Harvey's car was in the garage. It was gone. The man asked, "Where do you think he is?" "He probably went to a bar to get drunk. At worst, he might even spend the night in a motel. I can imagine him sulking like a little kid. He'll pay for this when he comes back and forgets my joke. On the other hand, his leaving might actually be for the best. If he feels bad because I had to go to such lengths to motivate him, I don't mind letting him continue to feel bad for a little while longer." Harvey didn't return or call that night or the next morning. Later the next day, when Betsy couldn't take it anymore, she called Harvey's personal secretary. "Well, before he was supposed to return from lunch, Barbara, please connect me with my husband." "That won't work." "Betsy, what the hell is going on?" Harvey stumbled in this morning and told me to shut up and listen. He said he's taking the day off because he has a lot of personal matters to deal with. Then he asked me who manages the company's health insurance. I told him the name of the HR person who handles it. That seemed to satisfy him and he didn't want to talk to me anymore. He left without saying thank you or anything else. That's not typical behavior for Harvey. Do you know if something happened to him? Did a family member pass away or something? What happened to him? Him? I pulled a stunt that had some unpleasant consequences. As soon as I talk to him and kiss his ass, I hope he'll get back to normal now. Could you transfer me to that girl in HR? Sure. Rhonda speaking. I'd like to talk to Sylvia, please. She's currently training a new employee. Can someone else help you? Can someone tell me what Harvey Strickland did in HR today? I can look into his file, but I need his permission to provide you with any information. I am his wife. Can you tell me anything? I can check your coverage under his policy. Hold on. Let me see. What a coincidence. We were going to contact you today anyway. You should receive an official notice by mail that you are no longer covered by your husband's medical insurance. You can retain coverage for 180 days past its termination if you pay the outstanding balance. That's the only thing he changed. A stunned Betsy just sniffled. Thank you. And hung up. Why did Harvey remove me from his medical insurance? Then it hit her. She immediately went to her computer to check their online bank accounts. Half the money from both the checking and savings accounts was gone. Oh, damn. He's divorcing me. Betsy couldn't decide what to do next. She was lost in thought when her phone rang. It was their life insurance agent and family friend, Larry. This is Betsy. Hi, Betsy. Can you tell me what's happening? Harvey came by and canceled the automatic payments for your life insurance. He also changed the beneficiary to the girls, so you won't receive any money. The payments for the insurance were redirected to a new account. He's certain this is what he wants. I'll need to send you an official notice about these changes. I'm sorry to hear this. It sounds like you might be splitting up. Betsy, I'm really sorry about this situation. Please come see me soon so we can make sure your life insurance stays active. Are you two getting divorced? Yes, thank you. I can't say anything more right now, but you haven't really told me anything. Yes. She hung up. 2 minutes later, their lawyer neighbor and friend Doug called. Betsy answered dully. Hello, Betsy. It's Doug. Can you tell me what the hell is going on? Harvey came here and changed his will so that the kids get everything and you get nothing. He also removed you from the list of people who could be his medical proxy. He refused to tell me why and said he didn't care if I told you or not. Then he asked me for a referral to a family lawyer. I assume you two are having serious problems and are considering divorce. Listen, I can always change everything back if you two reconcile. I'm very sorry this is happening. Marilyn and I think very highly of both of you. I have to run now, but I wish you both the best. Betsy weakly replied, Okay. The next call was from their twin daughters who were away at college. Mom, what the hell is going on? Dad called us all traitors to you. He said you're dating and sleeping with other men. Then he told us that he wouldn't be in touch for a while so you could have the freedom to date others until the divorce. He said he took care of our future college expenses. We tried to ask questions, but he ignored us. He told us to remember that he loves us and hung up. Mom, we're scared that Dad might harm himself. Can you tell us what happened that made him so depressed? I'm the fool who made him depressed and I'm trying to find him to apologize. The problem is I can't seem to find him. Maybe I can try. Hey, I'm getting another call. Maybe it's him. Call us back. Hello, Harvey. No, it's your mother-in-law, Doris. What the hell is going on? My son called me crying like a baby. He said something about you sleeping with a group of men in some nightclub. He seemed drunk, so I wasn't sure how true his story was. All I know is that he was very upset. Anyway, he said he's going to solve the problem by giving you your freedom. The worst part is he thanked me and his father for raising him right. Then he apologized for betraying his upbringing and letting us down. He said goodbye. I didn't like his tone. He hung up before we could ask any more questions. He hasn't answered our call since. Betsy, I'm afraid he might do something stupid. What happened between you two? I tried to get Harvey out of his empty nest rut and enjoy life with his wife. I decided to do something crazy to snap him out of his depression. I pretended to go on a date with another man. I was gone for 10 minutes. 10 lousy minutes. When I came back, he was already gone. Today, I found out he did some things that look like he's planning to divorce me. I'm trying to find him to stop this madness, but I can't reach him to talk to him. So, it's your fault that my son is planning to kill himself. Let me tell you something. If he dies, I will hold you personally responsible. Click asterisk. Betsy was very worried. She called all the nearby hotels and motel, but Harvey wasn't staying at any of them. She called the police and tried to report him missing, saying she was afraid he might be thinking about suicide. The police told her she had to wait another day before making the report. Betsy took a sleeping pill to help her sleep. But she couldn't stop thinking about Harvey possibly harming himself. Luckily, she knew the code to the safe where Harvey kept his gun and bullets. She woke up groggy and turned on the TV news. The local channel was broadcasting a live interview from the scene of an accident. This is Lamar Jackson from TV3 News. It seems that last night Bender Curve claimed yet another victim or victims. We are here with Sergeant Kinnear from the State Police. Sergeant Kinnear, can you tell us exactly what happened? It appears that a vehicle went off the cliff. You can see it bypassed the strongest part of the reinforced guard rails. The driver was either very unlucky or knew what they were doing. What is known at this point, given the lack of skid marks, it looks like the driver might have lost consciousness, been under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or possibly committed suicide. How did you even know an accident had occurred? A driver traveling in the opposite direction called the police. He's here now. The camera switched to a young man. The reporter approached. Did you see who was driving? No. The truck's headlights were on, and I only got a glimpse of the driver. You look like a man. I don't think there were any passengers. That's all I know. Thank you, Sergeant Kinnear. Have you called for help to find the truck that crashed through the guardrail? Well, we don't know for sure what broke through the guardrail. We assume it was a truck, as Mr. Carpenter reported. From here, it's impossible to see what it is. We have a search and recovery team for the mountains. But they're currently conducting search and rescue operations in another part of the state. I don't know when they'll be able to get down there and check. But what if there's someone alive down there who needs medical help? Then you'd be witnessing a real miracle. No person could survive such a fall onto those rocks. I wouldn't risk the lives of those not adequately trained to attempt an expedition just to find out. We just have to wait for the mountain rescue team. Betsy didn't need to wait to guess what had happened and who was dead. She began crying as soon as they mentioned a red Ford F-150 with a decal. She ignored the ringing phone. She had been crying alone for 3 hours before the twins arrived. When she didn't answer their call, they got worried and rushed home to be with her. Their grandmother had called and told them about the news on TV about the red F-150. Despite the absence of a body, they were almost certain that it was their father who had crashed. The older of the twins answered the call on her mother's phone and handed it to her. The caller ID displayed the name of a law firm. Hello, This is Betsy Strickland. She could barely pronounce her last name due to choking back tears. Mrs. Strickland, I'm Chris Andrews, a lawyer at the same firm where Doug works. Your husband hired me to handle his divorce. Doug convinced me to call you. The Riverton police from Caldwell County contacted me. They responded to a robbery where a man was injured and taken to the hospital. He had a head injury, lost his wallet and keys, and went into surgery in a coma to reduce brain pressure. They identified him as Harvey Strickland from a motel room key found on him. In his hotel room, they found papers, including a divorce agreement, which I'm managing. Harvey wanted me to handle the divorce so you wouldn't have to deal with him directly. He instructed me not to allow you to visit him in the hospital. Following his clear verbal instructions, your children can visit, but I have the final say on visitors. What? He's my husband. Of course, I can see him. I'm very sorry, but the directive he signed gives me and only me the authority to make decisions regarding the divorce and his medical care. I must follow his last verbal instructions. If you want to hire a lawyer to contest this, you should do so immediately. Isn't the divorce process halted because of his condition? No, ma'am. I was given clear instructions to pursue the divorce no matter what, although I don't think he anticipated being robbed. Does this mean all the financial, insurance, and beneficiary actions he took won't be reversed? Yes, ma'am. All those actions were completed by him, and at this point, I have no evidence that he wants them reversed. Of course, there's no evidence. He's in a coma. This is just ridiculous. I tricked my husband into believing I was going on a date with another man. When I came back to tell him it was a joke, he was already gone. He got rid of his cell phone, so I couldn't tell him it was a joke. There are no grounds for divorce and no reason for the action he took in response to the joke. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's what you're saying now. I have to follow what Mr. Strickland instructed me to do and confirmed in writing. I have no other choice. I hate to tell you this, but tomorrow you will be served at work per Mr. Strickland's request. Once you get a lawyer, have them contact me to discuss the next steps. I don't care. He's my husband and I'm going to see him if I want. I forgot to mention the envelope you'll receive contains a restraining order requiring you to stay at least 300 meters away from him. The petition he proposed is very generous. He stated that he wants you to have a chance with the man you truly want. Now, Betsy told the children what the lawyer said. It was impossible to believe what had happened. Betsy said she would go to the hospital no matter what they said. The girls agreed to accompany her. It didn't take long. The hospital didn't have a copy of the restraining order, but no visitors were allowed due to CO restrictions for all patients. They said that once he was moved to the IQ, he could have visitors, but only one person for 10 minutes every 2 hours. Betsy and the daughters came back home feeling disappointed. By the time Harvey was transferred to the IQ, the restraining order had already been issued. One daughter could visit him, but it didn't make much difference. He was unconscious, and if he heard anything they said, they couldn't tell. A few days later, the mountain search and rescue team discovered the truck. It was believed that the person who died in the crash was the robber. Harvey's wallet was found there, but several hundred of the $6,000 were missing. This was likely because they found a few bottles of rare Kentucky bourbon, one of which was more than half empty. As time passed, Betsy found herself in a difficult financial situation. Harvey had forgotten to transfer his paycheck deposit into the couple's joint account, which was used to pay the mortgage and other bills. Betsy did hire a lawyer who followed the court request to grant her access to half of the money remaining in the account. Finally, the time came to bring Harvey out of the drug-induced coma and wake him up. When he awoke, he said he didn't know who he was. The diagnosis was temporary amnesia. Linda, one of the twins, brought photos and shared memories to refresh his memory. All efforts were in vain. He didn't even remember the lawyer who held his power of attorney. In his condition, he was deemed insufficiently informed to have the restraining order lifted. When Harvey came out of the coma, he was given a memory test to determine if he had amnesia. Harvey quickly realized what they were doing and decided to pretend. He was told that his daughters wanted to see him. Carol, the other twin, was the first to see him. He asked her, "Who are you?" "Dad, I'm one of your daughters, Carol. You were attacked and went into a coma. We've been waiting for you to wake up." Yes, Linda. Mom, your wife and I have a wife. Why isn't she here?" "She's not allowed to come. You two had a misunderstanding and there's a restraining order against her visiting." "My God, does she want to harm me?" "No, Dad. She poses no threat to you." "You were really angry with her. Why?" "She pretended to go on a date with another man before she could come back to tell you it was a joke. You left and started the divorce process. Now that you're awake, you can stop all of this." "How do I know she didn't go on the date?" "She says she didn't." "Didn't you just say she said she was going on a date?" "Yes, but that was a lie." "So, she lied about going on a date, but is now telling the truth about not going on a date." "I might not remember you or her, but I'm not a fool. I must have taken steps to protect myself." "Sorry, Missy, but your 10 minutes are up. You'll have to leave now." 2 hours later, his second daughter arrived. "I talked to you earlier, didn't I?" "No, that was my twin sister, Carol. I'm Linda. Don't you recognize me?" "I'm sorry, but not yet. You and your sister are very attractive young women. Were we on good terms?" "I understand your mother and I were separated." "We were on good terms. Mom played a prank on you and you were attacked and got a head injury before she could tell you it was a joke. You started the divorce process before you found out. You need to stop this debt. I don't know what to do. I don't know if you're my daughter or not. I don't know who my wife is, if I even have a wife. I don't think I should do anything until my memory returns, if it ever does." "Do I have a lawyer?" "You have two, one for regular matters and a divorce lawyer. You gave him permission to proceed with the divorce. Maybe if I talk to him, it will help refresh my memory. Can you contact him or her and ask them to come visit me?" "Of course. Anything to help you regain your memory." "Dad, can you let Mom visit you? It's killing her that she can't see you and apologize. I don't think I would feel safe around her." "Maybe later." "Mr. Strickland and Chris Andrews, your family law attorney. Do you remember me? Is everything we discussed confidential?" "Absolutely." "Good. I don't have any amnesia. I'm trying to figure out what to do about the divorce. What I remember is that I told you to give her enough so she can move on without me." "That's correct. She was served and got a lawyer. Do you want to rescind the agreement and stop the divorce?" "No. And no. Can you investigate her supposed date and report back to me what you find?" "I can hire someone on your behalf if you authorize me to do so." Harvey kept pretending he had amnesia and talked with his daughters, ignoring their request to let them see their mother and stop the divorce. He waited for his lawyer's report, which came a few days later. The private. Investigators think there isn't enough proof to say if she went on the date or not. The man she was with says nothing happened, but he's married and might be scared to tell the truth. You can decide if you believe her or not. I was afraid of that. Thanks for the information. I think it's time for me to regain my memory. I want you to proceed with the divorce." Carol was the only one who heard him say her name from memory. Shortly after that, he told her that memories were flooding back, including the night of Betsy's betrayal or trick, depending on what to believe. He agreed to meet with Betsy. After hugs and tears, Betsy began, "Harvey, it was a trick, a cruel trick on you to make you change. Doug and I just drove around the block, but by the time we got back, you were already gone. How do I know that's true? I can ask Doug to come and tell you. He was the one who helped me pull off the trick. So, I have to take the word of the man you supposedly cheated on me with to convince me you didn't cheat on me. Sorry, but that dog won't hunt. I tried to call you, but you left your phone at home. I waited for you all night, but you never came back. Was anyone there while you were waiting? Hugh stayed for a couple of hours and then went home. I'm sure he'll vouch for you. I waited for your call until the next day when I called your office. That's when I found out you took a scorched earth approach to my fake affair. You seemed like you couldn't wait to get rid of me. Why wouldn't I? You told me to my face that you were going to cheat on me. You said you wanted another man who was standing right in front of me in my own house. I was devastated, but because I loved you. I wanted to give you what you wanted as soon as possible. Besides, I no longer wanted to be married to you because you broke our marital vows. Why prolong the agony? Let's go ahead and get divorced. I don't want a divorce. I never planned to actually cheat on you, and I never did. I wanted to motivate you to fight for me and bring some life back into our marriage. Obviously, I chose the wrong way to do it. Forgive me, please. Harvey, stop the divorce and let's get back to our life. I love you, even if what you said is true, and I still don't believe it. You played a cruel, nasty joke on me. I don't know if I want to stay married to a woman who does such things. For now, I'm continuing with the divorce process and will move into my own apartment when I get out of the hospital. Harvey, that's such a waste of money. You have a home and a bed. I'll move into a different room in the house for a while if that's what it takes to win you back. Visiting hours are over, and I want to see my daughters. Betsy was escorted out of the room. The twins tried to support their mother's case. Neither of them could explain how long their mother spent with Doug that night, so it didn't matter to Harvey. When it was time for his discharge, he indeed moved into an apartment near his work. The divorce proceeded until Betsy's lawyer demanded mandatory counseling for them. 12 sessions. Harvey offered no resistance to counseling. Betsy went first. I love my husband very much. We had a wonderful marriage and raised 2 amazing girls together. I think the emptiness syndrome hit him harder than it did me. I wanted to fill that gap by spending more time with him doing various activities, not just physically being in the same house. Harvey seemed to have lost interest in our marriage. Our sex life stayed the same, planned for times when our daughters wouldn't hear us. Harvey wasn't affected by their absence. I decided to change things to get his attention. I convinced a male friend from work to help me with what I called shock therapy. One night, I pretended to go on a date with him. We drove around briefly and returned to tell Harvey it was a joke to make him care about our marriage again. When we got back 10 minutes later, he had already left, so I couldn't explain. The next day, I called his office and found out he was filing for divorce. A few days later, I found out Harvey had been robbed and was in a coma. When he came out of the coma, he didn't believe that my supposed date was a trick and thought I was actually planning to see other men. Since then, he has been pursuing a divorce. I apologize for my misguided action and beg him to give me a second chance. Harvey, what is your brief summary of what happened? She is accurate about what she said, but she left out a few details. When her date showed up, she not only told me she was going out with him despite my objections, but she also said she hoped to spend the night having sex with him. At that moment, I realized my marriage was dead. I assumed it was my fault that our marriage fell apart. So I wanted to leave as quickly as possible. I left my home and her so she could have the man she wanted and I could start anew. I took steps to separate us quickly. I gave power of attorney to a lawyer because I didn't want to think about Betsy anymore, let alone talk to her. I would have given her a generous divorce and continued living my life. I didn't know I was going to be robbed, and I certainly didn't expect to end up in a coma. When I came out of the coma, I didn't remember who I was. Sometimes I wish I had stayed in the coma and hadn't remembered that night. Betsy says she didn't actually go on the date, but she provides no proof. In my view, it's just as likely that she did go on the date and slept with that guy, Doug. I think she only changed her mind when she realized what it would mean for her socially and financially. Now, I'm being asked to believe it was just a joke and to return to live with a woman who was willing to break my heart whenever she sees fit. How can I live with that? Every evening when I come home, do I have to worry about what awaits me, a loving wife or an unfaithful one going on a date? It would be cleaner if we got divorced. She and Doug can have a life together, and I can try to move on. It seems we have a lot to discuss. Everything reached a deadlock until Betsy brought Doug to the session. Harvey, I want to apologize for my part in the prank, Doug said. Betsy told me everything would be okay, but I wasn't sure when she got in my car. We only drove around briefly before coming back home. She was surprised to find out you had already left. We found your phone in your room and waited for you to come back. She spent most of the time complaining about what happened and how much she cares about you. After a while, I left. I'm sorry again. Do you believe me now, Harvey? His words certainly sound sincere, but maybe he's just a good actor. Harvey, it seems there's nothing I can do to prove to you that it was just a joke. Despite what happened, I promise I will never play such a prank on you again. Can't you just believe me? Let's see. You lied to me that night when you said you were going to spend the night with Doug. Then you claim you didn't do anything. You now say you're not lying. Next, you want me to believe you won't do anything like this in the future. How am I supposed to know where the lie ends and the truth begins? It all comes down to trust. Harvey, if we want to be together again, you'll have to trust me. If you can't do that, I'll agree to divorce you. The counselor spoke up. I have a suggestion. How about a postnuptial agreement that stipulates if Betsy ever does this again, you get all the property in the divorce? Would you be willing to sign that? Betsy replied, yes, Harvey added. I think I could try that. Betsy approached and hugged him. Harvey slowly reintegrated into his marriage with Betsy. It took quite a while before they shared a bed again. Their interaction was very fragile. Over time, they developed a relationship that included more outings, working on home projects together, visiting their daughters, and traveling. Their sex life was more active than before the incident. Betsy began to feel comfortable at home. One day, Harvey called Betsy and said, "Don't make dinner. We're going somewhere." He had to hang up fast, so Betsy didn't know why. She remembered his workplace was reorganizing due to a merger. Betsy thought he must have received good news about his job. When Harvey came home after the reorganization, he went straight upstairs. "I'm changing for the evening," he commented on his way. Shortly after, the doorbell rang. Betsy opened the door. A woman who looked about 10 years younger than them stood there. She was very attractive and professionally dressed. "Yes, can I help you?" "I'm here for Harvey. We have plans tonight." Betsy remembered the incident she had tried to forget. She thought he was finally trying to get revenge. An idea came to her mind. She invited the woman in. "You have a lovely home, Mrs. Strickland." "Thank you. Excuse me for a moment. I need to tell Harvey you're here," she shouted. "Harvey, your companion is here." His response was indistinct. She assumed he said he would be down shortly. She returned to the woman. Betsy was about to ask her a question when she heard Harvey coming down the stairs. She decided to take action. Betsy wrapped her hands around the woman's throat and began to choke her lightly. "You husband-stealing wench." The woman, whom Betsy assumed was part of a revenge prank, began to resist, Harvey shouted. Betsy, stop. What the hell is going on? Betsy started laughing. This time I caught you trying to prank me. What prank? This is my new supervisor from the merger, Amanda Brooks. Amanda, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into her. Amanda frowned at him. I like to think my subordinates are normal people, both at work and outside of it. You can say goodbye to your new position if this is what you consider normal. I'll be in the car waiting for you to take me back to the hotel. Amanda, please give me a chance to explain before you do anything rash. She stormed out the door. Betsy sat on the couch, crying. Thanks a lot, Betsy. Just when I thought our marriage was getting back to normal. You ruined our marriage and my job. That's it. I'm leaving to try to save my job. I won't be coming back to save our marriage. He headed to the car. Betsy ran upstairs and collapsed on the bed, sobbing. What the hell is happening? What have I done? About 15 minutes later, Harvey and Amanda returned to the house. He called Betsy downstairs. They explained to her that she had been pranked. Betsy clung to Harvey and screamed how sorry she was. Later, they went out for dinner and drinks. Amanda shared how she was scared she might get hurt, but that Harvey's help with the prank made it worth it. Betsy eventually reached a point where she could laugh along with them. When Betsy and Harvey got back home, she went to clean the kitchen before bed. Harvey went upstairs. Right away, he saw his locked-up automatic pistol on Betsy's nightstand. Checking the gun, he found a bullet inside and the safety off. It worried him deeply. Second story, my husband cheated on me when we first started dating. So, I just found out that when my now husband and I were first dating, like in the first few months, he was talking and sleeping with other girls. We've been married for about 5 months now, dated for 2 years, and talked for a year before we started dating. I knew before we started dating that he was talking to other girls, which was okay since we weren't exclusive. But when we started dating, he told me I was the only person he had been hooking up with in the last 6 months and that he wasn't talking to anyone else. I didn't mind if he was, but that's what he told me, so I believed him. We fell in love, and he tells me all the time how glad he is that I'm in his life. One of the reasons he thinks I'm the one is because I've always been there for him, even when his family wasn't. He says he never knew there was someone out there who could be there for him at his lowest and make every day better than the day before. But recently, I went through his phone honestly just out of boredom because my phone died. I saw some old messages from the first few months we were dating. And when we were talking, he was hooking up and trying to hook up with other women. Honestly, I wouldn't be so upset if he didn't lie to me about it. I know some people don't take relationships seriously in the first few months, but I feel betrayed. I know it was a long time ago, and he hasn't been doing it since, so I don't know if I should forgive him or not. What we have now is amazing, but I feel betrayed. I was honest with him that I went through his phone and saw the messages from when we first started dating. He apologized and said he shouldn't have done that, but it was so long ago that he barely remembers when it happened. He knows he messed up and asked if I was going to leave him. I told him I wasn't. I've known for the last few months now, and it keeps creeping back into my mind. He went back to his phone the next week and deleted everything old to show he will never be texting any girls. But I don't know if he did that to hide evidence or what. He doesn't know that I took a recording of multiple conversations he had with these girls he was hooking up with. I don't know if I should delete them because I keep watching them back or if I should show him that I recorded them and have a serious conversation about it. I am positive he won't ever do that again. But I don't know if confronting him would ruin our relationship. Because even though he did wrong, I did wrong by going through his stuff like that and recording it. I don't want to break up with him. But I also don't know if I can just act like that never happened. Everything he tells me, I don't know if it's the truth or a lie. Any advice?